Hello and welcome to Wrath of the Gods, episode 3. During the hours of last night, the new Roman Empire launched an attack on our northern forward operating base using 2 of their Ajax heavy tanks. However, due to the skillful and wonderful flying of our pilots, we were able to take one out before it was able to reach our base through concentrated machine gun fire. We suppose that maybe 50 caliber round bounced off the floor and into the lower fighting compartment, killing the crew, but we are not sure on how this really happened. And the second Ajax was destroyed by a KLM-2 at the forward operating base it was attacking. We, however, did lose one of our tanks. Our KLM-2 took a shell from a heavy tank and it stripped out the engines and the ammunition. However, the pilot was left alive. In regards to this attack, the new Roman Empire has launched 5 fighters at the northern operating base to defend their airspace. And also in the north, they have launched an Invictus-style battleship to really cement their control over the seas. Down in the south, the new Roman Empire has pushed 2 of their Ajaxes up to a crossing point between some islands, and they are getting ready to push into our side. We have countered this, and we have launched some tanks down in the south. However, this episode we are going to be focusing in the war in the north. This is the battle area. We have a forward operating base located here, and the enemy is located here and here. The X is some 20mm cannons, and we hope to disable them with the Condor. Should our plan succeed, we will then push up into the forward operating base with our fighters and our attackers and see if we can gain area supremacy and capture the base there. So, starting off with the Condor. As you can see, this big bulky bomber taking off once more from the forward operating base it's stationed at. After this turn, I think I'm going to put it to the rear until it's needed again. This thing is now holds a place in all of our citizens' hearts, and I believe losing this bomber would cause quite a morale shock for our forces, so we're currently just pulling it back from the front lines for a while and hoping that it survives the coming weeks and months that this war will drag out for. If we win, we may make it into a museum piece. We'll never know until the day it happens. But pushing on now, we are into enemy territory at this point. As you can see, there are the emplacements that we were briefed about, and we're going to go take them out with extreme prejudice. So coming up on the first one, and I've spotted the mistake that I was making. I wish I'd noticed this sooner. Would have saved a lot of embarrassment. Yeah, I haven't opened the cargo bay doors. Think of that what you will. Simple mistake. I totally did not say that I wasn't going to forget this last episode. There we go. Luckily we didn't actually drop any bombs before that point because I realised something was wrong. So we're turning to face a second turret. We're a bit too close to the ground and some fire starts coming up. Dodging and weaving. It's all good. As we come round, we're going to be aiming at the next turret, and hopefully we can take this one out with some bombs, but you'll see that my bombing in this episode is poor, to say really at best. Poor describes this. So coming up over on the target, got our bombs ready. See, we're messing up the attack run already, not centered, and now I'm rushing to try and get it back on target. And I think it's due to this fact that it's off target. I rushed this and I put 4 bombs off target, and in my haste to get away, the bomber flips up and over and starts spinning. I'm not sure how I controlled this. I managed to pull it out. There goes the bombs. They all missed. Great fun for me. I managed to pull this bomber out of this mess that I'd managed to get it into. I'm going to switch over to mouse aim flight. It's much easier for aiming these sort of things. And so, just balancing that out there. And as we can see, we're coming up on the next target after that first successful run. Now, my bombing was terrible when I did this. I do drop 2 bombs on this one. Neither of them are hits, but you'll see. I didn't actually hit either of these bombs, but the force was enough to fling it into the air so hard that it smashed onto the ground and exploded. So I guess we'll consider that a win. I'll take what I can get at this point. Coming back around, we're going to take on that middle turret, and hopefully, if we can with our last bomb, we'll see if we can eradicate, with our last 2 bombs, even we'll see if we can eradicate this turret and the next. But as I've said multiple times, my bombing in this episode is not going to leave much to be desired. And coming up on the target, this was all done in one run. I didn't have any practice runs like last week, so I guess that's my excuse, maybe. Don't drop a bomb there, because don't hold down the trigger for long enough. It was a perfect run as well. It's a shame that I messed it up the way I did. Next target, at this point I'm just hoping for some hits. And we're going to take Ripple off so I don't drop more than 1 bomb. And as you can see, shaking violently. Bombs away, I guess. I can't find the target. Can't see it, so I know that I've missed. And then some flak starts coming up. I almost lose the tailplane there, and that was almost the end of the bomber. But no, managed to keep flying on. Miss it completely, but hey. Gonna come for another run this time. Took me too many runs. I should not have stayed in airspace for this long. But the New Roman Empire should have placed their turrets better. They placed them too far away from their airbase, and therefore the fighters couldn't scramble to intercept. And so I could take my time with this. Well, as much time as I can take over, flak. Anti-aircraft flak. In retrospect, this probably wasn't the best plan. That one misses by a country mile. Now, finally a stroke of luck with my final 1,000 pound bomb pushing up. And then, as we fly over, I've lined it up pretty well. The last bomb goes away, and we get, finally, a direct hit, completely obliterating the anti-aircraft gun. So we are now flying the Condor back to base. We'll land it, and then we'll send the next wave in to deal with the fighters and the attackers at this forward operating base. 2 out of 3 turrets was good enough for me, and they weren't going to give my fighters any significant hassle. So flying in on the airbase, cutting to the fight, here we go straight into the action, and we can see cannon rounds and machine gun rounds already going in. This is 5 KS-47s, which I launched this turn. It's my fighter. And 3 KSA-9Ks, which are my attackers, which dealt with the Ajax tank last turn, and they're going to be pretty crucial. I didn't realise they had the ability to dogfight like they do. In testing, they always seemed rather sluggish, so I didn't assume. I thought they were just going to be basically bait, and whilst the enemy fighters were occupied with them, my fighters would clean up. But as you can see here, the Achilles are really quite manoeuvrable. Look at that manoeuvre. Casually flips up and out of the way. stabilises itself and flies off. However, this manoeuvrability comes at the cost of low stability, and so they often crash like this. For balancing and fairness sake, me and my friend decided that he can relaunch those in his next turn if he wishes to from a nearest base, because it wasn't really fair. They weren't in the fight, they didn't take any hits, they just crashed. So I'm okay with letting him relaunch those, even if it does mean I'm going to lose some stuff. I had hoped to kill his attacker too, but you'll see that I don't actually kill the attacker. Yet again it crashes and he can relaunch it next turn. The attacker was going to be a problem for me, because I don't mind, I like my tanks. There we go, KS-47 darting underneath. That's Achilles. This is a KSA-9K on its tail, firing a 40mm cannon. I wasn't aware that they could stick so close to these Achilles, but it turns out they've got quite a powerful engine. The engine is more powerful, it's good for top speeds, so in a speed fight, the KSA-9K is probably better than the Achilles. But as you can see here, in a turn fight, the Achilles is pretty much the deadliest thing in the skies because of how unstable it is, and this instability gives it the ability to make some pretty cool dodges and evasive maneuvers. However, it gets to the point where the AI sometimes just doesn't control it properly, and this happens, and they just hit the floor, lose their engine, out of the fight. More dogfighting. The Achilles are at this point quite outnumbered. I haven't lost any of my crafts. I was expecting a slaughter, because in testing the Achilles proved more than a match for my KS-47s. But it seems in practice the pilots get a little bit sweaty and don't control their planes to the best of their ability, giving my planes the overall advantage. And the Hector, the attacker as well, goes down, loses control, doesn't quite manage to get enough speed, doesn't pull out in time. I don't know, because it's mountainous terrain, it could be thinking that it's still quite far from the ground, and therefore making manoeuvres like it's quite high from the ground. These are my KSA-9Ks. And as I was saying with the Hector, probably just thought it was further from the ground than it actually was, and so decided to pull a manoeuvre and ended up crashing. It's got 50 cals and 40mm cannons. 50 cals that are effectively useless. I just put it on there as, aesthetic purposes. I didn't realise I could strafe out tanks with them, and even then I think it was purely luck with the way that the ricochets work. I'm pretty sure that what happened was 50 cal round hit the floor, went up and impacted directly with the command pod inside the Ajax, rendering it useless. And I can't see any other way how 50 cal, because he has heavy armour, 50 cals aren't able to go through heavy armour, they're just not. They don't have that sort of penetrating power. So it must have been a lucky ricochet, but I did, in the testing stages, warn my friend that he should probably armour his tanks lower hull in case they get flipped or this happens. I didn't actually expect it. Just watching a slow dogfight now, really. The 50 cals are doing nothing. I'm not sure I should keep them. It's a waste of points, really, for me. I've got, I think, 3 or 4 points put into the 50 cals on my attackers, but I'm not sure if they're really worth it, so I might strip them off and just give them more ammunition for their 40mm. But saying that, I'm not sure where to go, and as we can see, the ring falls off, but this has to have been a 40mm cannon shell. The 50 cals can't do that. So I suspect what happened was it hit it with a 40mm cannon shell on the wing, switched back to its 50 cals to let its cannon cool down for a while. We can see more cannon shots coming in, getting remarkably close, but at this point the dogfight is settled. This is the only flying Achilles left. The other two have been shot down, and the new Roman Empire gets to relaunch all of the lost ones, other than the ones that were shot down next time. See, that's the sort of impact that completely kills a plane. So at this point I declare that there is no enemy aircraft and I don't want to destroy the radar station, so I switch its teams onto the guard mode, and now it's ours. We've captured that airbase, we landed it, and that's ours now. Pushing onto that last installation with KLM-2 that survived a base attack, and 2 KLM-2Is. They were physics damaged them, so my supply unit repaired and upgraded them so they don't have as much physics warp terrible explosionness next time. They lose the entire rear of their armour, sometimes their turret comes flying off, so I rearranged them and now they are slightly better at enduring the effects of time warp. This KLM-2 wasn't damaged though, so we're pushing up with it as it is. And once we get to the crest of this hill, there's one anti-aircraft gun that we have to take out. It takes a while, and I'm not really pleased with how long it took, but what can you do? Pushing over the hill, we'll put the brakes on here-ish. Little bit of air time, make tanks look cool. You see it's targeted it and it's firing. We turn off vessel labels for tank fights, so things like in the city we can't tell where the enemy are, so it allows for ambushes and such, and I think that's pretty cool. There's the tank with the new symbol for the tank corps on the flag. You can't really see it from here. Might get a close-up of it later on. Push this one over the hill. Doesn't quite get far enough over the hill, so this tank never fires for some reason. It just doesn't open up. However, this tank I push a little bit further than I meant to, and it's over the hill. We managed to get a hit onto the ammunition of the 20mm gun, but the 20mm gun still holds ammo within itself. I was a bit hesitant about pushing my tanks through just in case that 20mm mauled them. I'm going to need them because if I keep losing tanks through attrition, I can't really move them up far enough to resupply my base next turn, because I've deployed my tanks this turn down in the lower region to stop the push through the south. So if Adam destroys the tanks and my aircraft up here, then I've lost this region effectively. I'd have to restart from scratch. This is a big risk. I'm just hoping that my fighters and attackers can fight. I wasn't planning to fully take the forward operating base, but I defeated him so crushingly I thought I could risk it. I thought my fighters were good enough, and so we killed that emplacement, push our tanks up to the south, push up to the north, put them in defensive positions on the hill. As you can see, there's not really much difference in KLM-2 and KLM-2 and KLM-2I. The only real difference is the placement of armour around the wheels. And I've launched a fleet here and started pushing them up towards the northern base, because I'm planning to do a Pearl Harbor style attack on Adam. So this is the current situation. Really hoping to make some decent gains next time. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next episode.